Year 3. Popular culture is packed to the rafters with zombies. Best-selling books, successful TV shows and, of course, video games. One of those games is very popular. It's attracted 1.5 million players and become the talk of the industry. Jose Barbosa investigates the New Zealand mind behind DayZ.
You're on a beach. You have no supplies and no weapons. Which is a pity because this is a post-catastrophe world full of flesh-eating zombies. Adding to the horror of the game is the other players. Will they help you, kill you for your stuff, or force you at gunpoint to fight other players to death?
Oh, no, Eddie! Eddie!
This is called DayZ. It's a mod of a military simulation game called Arma 2, made by Czech game studio Bohemia Interactive in 2009. So what exactly is a mod? Well, let's pretend that this Care Bears paint by numbers picture I downloaded off the internet is in fact a video game I went into a store and bought. Now the original makers of the image, as you can see, have set out a key here and I followed that absolutely to a T. I've coloured in all the colours as they indicate. Well, apart from here where I started off green because I thought it was a 2 but it's actually a 3 and then I stopped and put in yellow. But here I've decided to follow my own colour scheme. Here I've made Grumpy Bear appear like a tiger, and here he's all in camo, because he's had enough. So this is basically what video game modders do. They take an original game and change it. Sometimes the changes are small, like adding new guns or new costumes or new effects. Sometimes a completely new game is created. But, and this is important, you need the original game to be able to play the mod. DayZ is an under-the-radar side project made by an employee of Bohemia Interactive working in the Czech Republic. As it turns out, he's originally from Oamaru. His name is Dean Hall and he's told me to meet him here.
You got the stuff? Some good shit. Okay, we can talk.
The genesis for DayZ came from his time as a New Zealand soldier on an exchange program in Singapore.
Particularly the survival training they did gave me this real emotional response. I sort of felt that I'd had some of these little emotional experiences sometimes in video games. So I wanted to explore and see whether that was possible. Talking with some of my friends, you know, I'm a bit of a horror buff, so we thought, okay, well, why don't we use it to test the theory of what would you do in a zombie apocalypse? And after that, it kind of really took off in terms of development pretty fast, and then once we let it out to the world, it just went supernova.
In DayZ, when you die, that's it. There's no save games or loading checkpoints. Death means you're back on the shore shivering and alone. What Dean has done is create a game that ignores one of the key tenets of game design.
Don't frustrate the player in terms of when you're building a situation, you look at the situation and say, okay, how is the player going to solve this? DayZ doesn't look at any of that. DayZ just says, here's the problem, good luck. And I think that's why DayZ has done quite well, is because people are having this emotional response.
DayZ is a genuine phenomenon. After 4 months, 1 million people were playing it. All of those players had to buy Arma 2 to play DayZ, and at around $35 a unit, well, let's just say he's made his bosses very, very happy. It's also made Dean a star. Otherwise known as Rocket online, he's currently the hottest thing in the video game industry right now, and everyone's come knocking.
That was when I started to see the nasty side of it appear. So everybody saw money, and so I got, a lot of offers there, and some of them were quite good, and then, you know, people sometimes you thought were your friends suddenly smelt money, so things, suddenly became a lot more complicated.
Dean has stuck with Bohemia and is contracted with them to create a standalone DayZ game. He has plans to return to New Zealand one day and start his own studio.
It makes me kind of sad sometimes that people don't associate DayZ with New Zealand at all. They don't realise that the bulk of DayZ was actually made while I was sitting in Waihuru over Christmas. You know, so sitting in the middle of nowhere in New Zealand. I think actually most New Zealanders who know something about gaming will look at DayZ and go, well, you know, I've thought of that before. Why haven't we done this earlier? You know, whereas I'll talk to Americans and that who are like, wow, you know, this is amazing. Where did this come from? You know, and so I think New Zealanders, we've just got that knack for seeing something.
DayZ Foundation is due out sometime this year. In the meantime, You cannot help but feel the next time Dean makes it back home, we'll see some pretty interesting things happen down here at the end of the world.